Hey Dean, I have your watch here, your 6105. It's super cool, by the way. I'm happy to see it. I have a 6105 that's actually only a few thousand units away from yours, the same year and month. This is June 1968, and mine is very close to it. So it's nice to see yours. Yours is in beautiful original condition. It's certainly original. First, I got it here. I got it running. Let's talk about the numbers. This is your watch running. First impression always is that it's quite good. I mean, it's definitely needs servicing, but I mean, in terms of its performance, I mean, it's great. We're gaining a lot of time, but that's not really a big deal because I can adjust that out after service. It's got a tiny amount of beat error, which is an adjustment on the balance, but not a lot, really not a lot. This is the number that matters, amplitude. This is how far back and forth the balance is swinging, and that tells us how much power is making it through the movement to the pallet fork, and the pallet fork flicks the balance back and forth. And so the balance goes one way, goes the other. Blah, 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 blah. 198 is low. These should be 220, 230. And if they're in really prime internal condition, you go through and you swap out all the wheels and do a ton of work to it, you can start seeing numbers in the 250s, and that's for cruising speed, and that's quite good. But this is very respectable. I mean, for a watch that's 46 plus years old, and I don't know its service history, but it looks good. Cosmetically, it's original, and it's certainly worth the work. You can see the numbers are dropping a little bit here. It's coming off of the power spike that I put into it. So we're seeing we're dropping down towards what I would consider to be its cruising speed, and it's getting a little bit lower. I mean, it definitely tells us that we want to service it, but it's 100% worth it. So you are a lucky guy. The movement is very pretty. You get little things. There's a little bit of wear here on the top of the barrel, which means that the lower pivot for the arbor is worn. These tend to wear on the bottom, and so the barrel will start tipping sideways. And as it does, this will start ramming into the grinding on the underneath the plate, and we can do some remediation on that. But first impression on the movement visually is that it's good. It's a little hazy, not bad. The dial is great otherwise. Hands are really good. Hang on just one second for me. Okay. Now this watch, when it was new, would have been equipped with what we now call a Type 1 crystal. Seiko, this crystal is a 320 W10GN00. Seiko made at least 4 iterations of that crystal. My good friend and business partner, Jonathan Koch, who unfortunately, sadly, died last June, he was the first person to identify the fact that multiple different crystals for these were made, and he actually went and reverse engineered them from original crystals and had them recreated. We now own these designs, and we're the only people in the world that have them made because he passed his designs and trademarks onto us. The Type 1 crystal is a little higher than this, just a little bit. This might have gone in for service at some point later on in the 70s or later on, in which case the very early Type 1 crystal was no longer being issued by Seiko and you couldn't get it. So the people would put in the lower crystals because as the crystals went on, they got lower and lower. And this is definitely one of the later ones. Hang on just one second. I should have prepared. Hold on. It's hard to see. This is my 6105. It's only a few thousand units away from yours. And this has its Type 1 in there. You can see it's up a few millimeters. These are 3.8 millimeters tall. This one that you have in yours is about 3.6 millimeters tall. So yours is definitely a later iteration. But this is what this is what they looked like when they were new. And that's a Type 1 crystal. There's no coating or finishing of any kind on it. That's just stock. So there's mine. You had asked about a couple of things. Yes, all used discarded parts, they go back to the owner. All that stuff goes back. Anything that I replace, seals, crystal, anything, it's going to come back to you and you get to look at it. You'd asked about buffing the case. I wouldn't touch this case for love or money. I wouldn't go near it. The value of this watch that you have here is that it's in such good original condition. I mean, seeing the little pink stoplight right there, it's just fantastic. It's very rare to see, and you want to maintain that original condition as much as possible. I'm going to clean the heck out of it, but no material is going to be removed. Nothing's going to be shined up. It's going to be very, very, very clean, but it will be completely original. That is what I recommend. And I don't know. That's all I have to really say about it. But if you have any other questions, do let me know. It's a beautiful watch. These so rarely come in looking like this because these crowns are not they're not locking and the seals are not renewable. So these tended to get moisture in them, and then when the moisture got into these watches, it would sit on the underneath of the crystal, and it would react with the lume on the hands, and so the hands would go black first, and then the dial would go black. And it's no fun. But yours is very nice. Okay, bye-bye.